teacher and medical student is healthy. She was a happy person who was well loved and cherished by her friends and family. Of course, I don't really know this about her. The only thing I know for sure is that she was generous. I know that she believed in teaching others, and that she cared about future generations. I know this because my first teacher gave her body to my medical education. It is such a pleasure and honor, ladies and gentlemen, to be standing in front of you today to pay tribute to your loved ones, a group of individuals who graciously gave themselves to help instruct these medical students, people they didn't even know, and yet people who will remember them forever. I know I speak for every medical student in this room in saying that not one of us reflects back on our first year and recognizing that anatomy is the keystone, but isn't grateful for the selflessness of your loved ones. They gave us a priceless gift, which we will never be able to truly thank them for. But to you, their families and friends, to you we can say thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for helping to provide our first opportunity for enlightenment. No matter where we go after medical school, or for how long we may practice, we will be able to reflect back on our first year and remember where it all began, with the simple act of pure human charity. I remember the first day I came into the lab to meet this generous woman, who would soon become the greatest teacher I ever had, and I didn't know what to expect. But after my first encounter with her, there was really nothing I could say. As I and my classmates looked at the people who gave their bodies so that we may be educated, a total silence permeated the room. I had never heard a silence so loud, yet so full of awe, echoing from all of my classmates. They were peaceful and calm. I know the quiescent nature of my teacher actually helped to calm me. This woman and her family made this donation for the sake of my education, and I decided then and there that I was going to study hard and apply myself so that their combined sacrifice would not be in vain. As the weeks went on, we became more acquainted with our teachers as they grew to become our educational partners. One of my classmates enjoyed wondering about her teacher's story. Was she a grandmother who used to make pie and pull them on the windowsill? I didn't have to wonder about my teacher. I knew that she spent every day rollerblading on a boardwalk. Yet the closest we got to really knowing their stories was from a medical perspective. But for us, that was part of the thrill of the journey. A simple knee replacement, when seen through our eyes, would become a major discovery that we would share with others in class. The more time we spent working, the more we learned and discovered. Not only were we becoming informed about medicine, we were also constantly learning about our educational guides as well. They were truly people that we knew so well, despite not knowing them at all. When I look back on my time with my teacher, my educational partner, I realized that I benefited more from working with her than I ever could have known. Oh sure, I could tell you all the muscles in the arm, or I could list all the bones in the foot, or if you really want, I could explain the 4 stages of swallowing. But I could have done that without her. What my teacher taught me is that death is never casual, never unnoticed, and for us, never underappreciated. She wasn't just a body to me, she was a person. Someone with a story, a family, a history. The fact that I didn't know any of that about her didn't make her any less of a person. And this taught me that although I may not know the life story of all my patients, they are, just like my teacher, a person. My whole reason for being is to be there for them. After all, we treat people, not diseases. I learned that each and every person I encounter is someone that I can learn from. My teacher couldn't speak. She was unable to tell me her symptoms or her medical history, but her body could. And if I can learn this much from someone who is no longer with us, imagine how much I can learn from the living. Thanks to her, I will never think of a case as too small or not worth my attention. I will address every patient, regardless of his or her condition, as a person who is capable of teaching me, as long as I keep my mind open so that I may recognize the lesson. I will always take to heart how much I can be enriched by all my future patients. Probably the most unexpected role that my educational partner played was that of spiritual guide. It was while I was in class interacting with her that I had a personal breakthrough in my feelings toward a higher power. As someone who had always struggled with her faith identity, I promise you, the last place I expected to be instructed on God was in the laboratory. Still, as I worked and I practiced, I was struck with the realization that I would one day be working with someone similar to this woman. I would be a person who is accountable to others. I would be doing everything I could to heal somebody. But what I recognized most importantly of all is that I did not want to do this alone. And better yet, I didn't have to. It was a powerful personal discovery that sent me on quite a spiritual quest. But ultimately, it was my teacher who started it all. This was higher education at its most profound. Of all the experiences, what I valued learning most was compassion. This may not be something tested on an anatomy exam, yet it's a facet crucial to this field. The humbling sacrifice made by your loved ones communicated to me to remember to always give fully of myself. The best way for me to pay forward their altruistic donation is to think of them when choosing between what is right and what is easy. When it comes to the care of my patients, I often recall their presence if I'm ever faced with the reality of deciding what's best for me or what may be best for somebody else. Not even Shakespeare could write something so beautiful that would teach this lesson as well as I learned it from your loved one's example. Mark Twain once said, "Don't let schooling interfere with your education." I know that the experience of my educational guide was something that taught me well beyond what I expected to learn in my first few months of medical school. They are lessons that I will never forget. But what is most important is that I will also never forget the messenger. My life was changed because of the generous sacrifice of my teacher and her loving friends and family. To her and them, I am forever appreciative. So, on behalf of all my medical colleagues, to all of you joining us here today, I say a very heartfelt and sincere